Stam Garden Center, your one-stop shop for spring. Transform your indoor and outdoor space with our stunning selection. Visit us today, open 9 to 6, Monday through Saturday, located at 2421 Highway 92, Oskaloosa.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the thousands listening locally and the millions listening around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to shuffle!
Hey, and a good morning to you. Welcome to a new week. It is Monday, April 29th. Steve with you on the morning wake up here on Steve Shetler Media. It's brought to us by our good friends at Stam Garden Center in Oskaloosa. They are open Monday through Saturday, 9 to 6, and closed on Sundays. Experience the color. At Stam Garden Center, they bring us our morning wake-up. We are broadcasting live from the Oski Dental Studios. You can schedule your appointment with Dr. Schuster or Dr. Drawn at 641-673-4845. They're always accepting new patients. Oski Dental going to file all your insurance forms for you. They're a Delta Dental provider. See them at 902 South 17th Street, Oskaloosa. That's Oski Dental. The Oski Dental Studios here on Steve Shetler Media, the morning wake up. Hey, let's take a look at our forecast as it's brought to us by the Garden Gate, located at 105 South Jefferson in Sigourney, 641-622-3191. Stop in and see Cindy and the gang Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, and Saturdays, 9 to noon. All right, after a stormy weekend, wow, lots of weather this weekend in southeast Iowa and all of Iowa. Mostly sunny skies for today and a high of 65. It'll be a little bit windy, west winds gusting up to 25 miles per hour. That seems to be the case. We see some nice weather, but it's still like super windy. So that's the case for today. Tonight, clear skies, a low of 45, still breezy. Sunshine tomorrow, gusts up to 20 miles per hour, a high of 78 for your Tuesday. Showers are likely and maybe some thunderstorms tomorrow night, a low of 52. And let's see here, half to 3/4 of an inch possible Tuesday night. Wednesday, a 40% chance of some showers, and sunny otherwise, and a high of 74. Right now, our current conditions in southeast Iowa, humidity at 89%. Winds are west at about 5 miles per hour. Barometer at 29.82 and 51 degrees at 7:05 on your Monday here on Steve Shetler Media. We are, again, broadcasting from the Oski Dental Studios for the Stam Garden Center and Nursery Morning Wake Up. Let's see here. Earlier this morning, we put up our This or That. It's brought to us by Stacy Flynn at the Legacy Insurance Group and Welcome Realty in Sigourney. Our This or That is a pedicure or a manicure. What do you think? I think feet are gross in general, so just keep the feet away from me. So I don't really choose either of these. I don't care about pedicures or manicures. This is more of a woman thing, I think. I mean, guys might do this occasionally, but pedicure or manicure, comment on that. Just scroll back through a little bit on your Facebook feed to 6 a.m. this morning. That comes out every weekday at 6. For This or That, brought to you by Stacy Flynn at the Legacy Insurance Group and Welcome Realty. Coming up at noon today on Facebook, we will put out our question of the day. It's brought to us by Amy's Salon House and Spa in Sigourney. You can call or text for an appointment at 641-622-3772. What will you never, ever pay for again? What was such a bad experience that you're never going to pay for it again? Or maybe what was the worst food that you'll never pay for again? Or I don't know. It could be anything. Totally up to you. What will you never pay for again? That'll go up at noon. Our question of the day here on Steve Shetler Media, brought to us by Amy's Salon House and Spa. Hey, last night, as always on Sunday evenings, we put up our weekly top 20, and this is for the most engaged followers for Steve Shetler Media on Facebook for this past week. That includes likes, comments, and shares. Now, Facebook puts this together for me. They do the math. And I don't know. I question sometimes how Facebook does this. Because some people show up on the list that I wouldn't think would be on the list. But then other people that should definitely be on the list sometimes don't show up on the list. I don't get it. But regardless, Chad Heistoffer is our number one fan for this past week. Chad, congratulations to you. You are the number one most engaged fan. This is the first time that Chad's been at number one, so congratulations to Chad Heistoffer, our number one engaged fan on our weekly top 20. Let's see here. The rest of the top 10 includes Tabby, Alan, Dodie, Bruce, Lacey, Dan, Dave, Christine, and Curtis. Some of the usual cast of characters in that top 10. So if you want to move up for the coming week's top 20, just make sure you like, comment, and share as much as you can, and maybe you'll pop up on that list. What else we got going on today? Coming up later on this week, we'll have our, let's see here, I'll bring my face back up on the screen. We'll have our Iowa Music Showcase, fingers crossed, because I don't have anybody booked yet for this Friday. We're getting down to the wire. So we'll see if a Iowa musician, a serious artist, I don't want somebody that just, sings occasionally and can only do a cover song. Don't want that. I want somebody that plays out regularly, and has original music. So a serious artist. If you know one of those, send them my way. I'd like to get somebody, we're still in we're less than a year here on Steve Shetler Media. I'd like to keep it new and fresh. So if you know somebody who hasn't been on the show yet, that is a serious artist, it can be a country artist, doesn't have to be a country artist. It can just be somebody that plays music regularly, out and about, and gets paid to do it, and has original music to play on the show. That's one of the necessities. So looking for somebody for Friday. Then, of course, we'll be heading to Brothers Market on Saturday morning at 8 a.m. Our special guest this Saturday for the sports section is going to be Gina Green Rogers. Now, Gina is originally from Sigourney, and she has had quite a career in announcing. Doing a lot of Iowa Hawkeye announcing. She does where she introduces the lineups and stuff like that. She does play-by-play. So yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. Gina Rogers is going to be our guest on this weekend's Saturday morning's sports section, the coaches show from Brothers Market in Sigourney. It was a busy weekend for me. This past weekend. Before we get into that, I do want to throw up one more graphic here. On Friday, we did crown our champion of the 90s Country Female Superstar for the Fun of It tournament, sponsored by Sarah's Quickie Delivery. Great food delivery service in the Oskaloosa area. And as you can see there, Reba beat Faith Hill pretty easily. A lot of people at the beginning of this tournament 3 weeks ago said Reba was going to win this. I mean, there were no doubts about it, and that ended up coming true as Reba went through the competition. I'd say her toughest competition was from Shania Twain, but Reba got the win. She is our 90s country female superstar champion of our For the Fun of It tournament, sponsored by Sarah's Quickie Delivery. Coming up in May, I think we'll start it next week, will be our next tournament. I don't know. What do you guys think? Should I stick with the 90s theme? We've done male, we've done female. Should we do like duo and group for the 90s? I'll pose that question on Facebook, and we'll see what we come up with. Hey, as I mentioned, I had a busy weekend. Ran up to Okoboji this past weekend. Why did I go to Okoboji? Oh, look at my wife, Stacy. My wife and I ran up to Okoboji for the Midwest Country Music Organization's Awards, the yearly awards show that they do. Now, this organization is only about 5 years old, 5 or 6 years old at the most. They did this show previously in Minnesota the first couple of years, and then they have brought it to Okoboji last year and this year. And we decided to make that trip to Okoboji. It's a bit of a jaunt from southeast Iowa, but it was worth it. Great entertainment. And yes, it is kind of a fancy get-dressed-up affair. So my wife and I went up to Okoboji. It was at the Roof Garden at Arnold's Park Amusement Park, if you've ever heard of that. It's kind of like a mini Adventureland. They've got a roller coaster there. They've got some other rides and a cool little venue, the Roof Garden, for the Midwest Country Music Organization's awards show. And we got to hang out. Of course, not only Iowa country artists, but artists from all around the Midwest for country music. Now, you see me there with Iowa's Brad Morgan, who won the Male Vocalist of the Year, along with Iowa's Casey Musicman, who was on The Voice, Team Blake, several years ago. So Brad and Casey there. Let's run through a few other pictures. I feel like I'm going to be showing you my vacation pictures that you don't really want to see. There is Lee Klett from The Boys here in southeast Iowa. He also was part of the fun. We'll get to Lee here in just a second. Picture of me. No, that's not Eddie Montgomery from Montgomery Gentry. That is my friend, my radio friend, Jay Brooks from northern Iowa. Jay likes to wear his Eddie Montgomery hat. And yes, he does have a resemblance to Eddie Montgomery, but that's Jay Brooks, radio guy from here in Iowa. And then the guy that kind of is in charge of a lot of things for the Midwest Country Music Organization. They call him PT, Paul Thomas, radio guy from Minnesota. So that's Paul Thomas there. Now, as I mentioned, Lee Klett was at the show. But by the way, a bunch of Iowa people performed. You can see some of those performances. If you scroll back through my Facebook feed, you can see a bunch of clips and performances from the show from Saturday night on my Facebook feed. So check that out. As Royce Johns performed, Jordan Beam, Jesse Wilson, Brad Morgan, Casey Musicman. And then a lot of Iowa folks won awards. Jordan Beam got the New Artist of the Year. Brad Morgan got Male Vocalist of the Year. I'm trying to think off the top of my head who else. But the cool way that the evening ended was a surprise award for something they called the Ambassador of the Year. And I took my picture with Lee Klett earlier, showed you that picture. And Lee was surprised with this award. Here's some of the video footage.
I love each and every one of you. Thank you so much. I promise I wouldn't cry. I love what this organization does for everybody out there. I appreciate each and every one of you. I'm shaking. I did not see this coming.
So Lee Klett getting the Ambassador of the Year presented by the Midwest Country Music Organization. And basically, he got that because he is so supportive of all of the Iowa and Midwest country artists, the organization as a whole, and all of the artists. You know, they were saying how Lee goes out of his way to support everybody in the organization, whether he's wearing a T-shirt of another artist or going out of his way to attend a concert or a gig of somebody else that's within driving distance and sometimes not driving distance. If Lee doesn't have a concert of his own to perform at, he is on the road to go support and see somebody else. So Lee Klett getting a great honor by the Midwest Country Music Organization, as a bunch of our Iowa and Midwest artists got their awards and names called at the award show in Okoboji over the weekend. Great night. And, if you want to be a part of that organization, you can do that. Just look up Midwest Country Music Organization. It's just $50 for a yearly membership. And then you can also vote on the year-end awards coming up, which will be next year now. But, it's a great connection thing for Iowa artists and people that are interested in Midwest country music. Now, after that, we were on our way home yesterday, and there you see me amazed at the size of the world's largest popcorn ball in Sac City, Iowa. My wife and I were driving to Okoboji on Saturday. We saw the sign, and we were like, oh, we got to stop there on the way home. So there's the world's largest popcorn ball. It's so big, they built a building around it to protect it. So the world's largest popcorn, Sac City. Take me down to Sac City, popcorn, yeah. So check that out. If you're ever up in northwest Iowa, Sac City, the world's largest popcorn ball. All right, that was my weekend in a nutshell. I am dragging a little bit this morning. Let's take a look at some events on our community calendar. Coming up on May 18th, the Small Business Showcase and Fundraiser for Unravel Pediatric Cancer. That'll be May 18th on the square in Oskaloosa from 3 to 6 p.m. They'll have family fun, food trucks. Business owners will be there. You can get to know your community a little bit better. That's sponsored by Sarah's Quickie Delivery, one of our sponsors here on Steve Shuttler Media. Another thing in the Oskaloosa area, you might want to save the date, May 18th. That same date will also be the Oskaloosa Vendor and Farmers Market kickoff from 8 a.m. to noon. So you got that on the 18th, the first half of the day. Then you'll have the Small Business Showcase and Fundraiser the second half of the day on the square in Oskaloosa. So lots of things going on there. And then another event coming up on our calendar, a few different dates actually. It's coming up on Tuesday. It's called the Constitutional Sheriffs and Human Trafficking Events, where they're free events, tickets. You can get more information on this. A lot of information on that flyer there that you can see, but that's coming up on Tuesday from 6 to 9:30 in Oskaloosa. So check that out if you would like. All right, let's just jump into this. Good morning to you. Let's run through it. Boy, we're about 20 minutes into this show already. Good morning to you, Dan, Sherry, Nancy, Dodie, Dixie, Molly, Cindy, Tracy, Bubby, Sandy, Tamara, Renee, Eloise. Whew, lots of people tuned in on this Monday. Let's jump into some birthdays. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. All right, birthdays for today. The old fart on the day, on the road again. Willie Nelson, country music and just music overall legend. Willie Nelson is 91 years old today. Happy birthday to Willie Nelson. Other birthdays for today, Dwayne Allen from the Oak Ridge Boys is 81. We've got actor-comedian Jerry Seinfeld turning 70 years old. We've got actor Daniel Day-Lewis, 67. Actress Michelle Pfeiffer is 66. Actress Eve Plum, she's Jan from the Brady Bunch. The middle child, she's 66 years old. Singer Carney Wilson from Wilson Phillips is 56. We've got tennis player Andre Agassi turning 54. Actress Uma Thurman is 54. And country singer Michael Ray is 38 years old. On this date in history, it was today back in 1429, Joan of Arc entered the besieged city of Orleans, France, to lead a victory over the British. Joan of Arc. It was on this date in 1913 the zipper was patented. Speaking of zippers, my zipper broke on my coat over the weekend. So I'll be in the coat shopping business. It was on this date in 1965 a 6.5 earthquake hit Seattle. So big earthquake, Seattle, 1965. And today, 1988, McDonald's announced they were going to Russia. Going to build their very first restaurant in Russia, 1988. Today on the calendar, again, today is Monday, April 29th. Today is International Dance Day. Woo! Today is National Arbor Day. Plant a tree. It's National Shrimp Scampi Day. And it's Zipper Day because of the patent for the zipper. It's also the last Monday of April. So goodbye, Monday. Also, you might want to mark your calendar. Coming up on Saturday will be the Kentucky Derby. Something that I'm not a horse racing person at all, but I'll tune in for the Kentucky Derby. It's, like 2 minutes to watch a horse race? Always exciting. Before we go any further, let's say hi to our sponsor, Stam Garden Center and Nursery in Oskaloosa.
Stam Garden Center, your one-stop shop for spring. Transform your indoor and outdoor space with our stunning selection. Visit us today, open 9 to 6, Monday through Saturday, located at 2421 Highway 92, Oskaloosa.
As spring brings warmer weather each year, dinners typically begin to include main courses that are lighter and spicier than those we eat in winter. They may include spicy Mexican, Asian stir-fries, and other flavorful spicy foods. A white wine rarely has enough body to stand up to the stronger flavors of a spicy dish, and a red wine has too much body and will frequently accentuate the spice to unpleasant levels. A fizzy light red like Oski Fasanti Red from Tassel Ridge Winery will have sweetness and fizz that will balance the spice. Oski Fasanti Red is semi-sweet and fruity, with cherry and citrus on the nose and sweet cherry and candied fruits on the palate. It's an excellent complement to spicy foods. Of course, you can just chill it down and drink it while celebrating.
Hey, we thank our sponsors for making our broadcast possible here on Steve Shetler Media for the morning wake up. We do thank Stam Garden Center in Oskaloosa for being our headline sponsor, and of course, Oski Dental Studios here from Steve Shetler Media Mansion, I guess you could call it the mansion. Let's go to things you need to know. Oh, yeah. Woo, woo. Things you need to know. Shortly before making an appearance at the NFL Draft, Eminem, my name is Slim Shady. Eminem announced that his 12th studio album, The Death of Slim Shady, will be released this summer. I like 2 or 3 Eminem songs, but if you like him, that's something to be excited about. Other stuff, things you need to know. Not everyone excited about a new design from Jordan Luca, a designer, some new jeans. Have you seen these? They look like regular jeans, but with dye around the crotch that makes it look like you peed your pants. The thing is, they cost about $500 a pair. So, I mean, just go out and buy yourself some cheap jeans and just pee yourself and then save yourself the money. NCIS Hawaii has been canceled by CBS after 3 seasons. Other things you need to know, the fertility rate in the U.S. fell to the lowest level on record last year, with women in their 20s having fewer babies. There were only 3.6 million babies born in the U.S. last year. That is the lowest since 1979. Young adults just not having kids like they used to. Home Depot, if you're a Home Depot shopper, they're having what they're calling a halfway to Halloween sale. I don't know what that means exactly. Obviously, then we're 6 months away from Halloween. But look for the halfway to Halloween sale at Home Depot. Another thing you can look for is Amazon Pet Day. I have no idea what that means, but it's coming up next week, Tuesday, May 7th, and Wednesday, May 8th. Amazon Pet Day. Other stuff you need to know, tabloids are saying that King Charles' cancer battle is not going well. And they're actually reviewing plans for a national funeral. So that's not good. The Buckingham Palace also announcing that the king will be resuming his royal duties this week, but I don't know. We'll see how things go there. Actress Emma Stone, you've always known her as Emma, but she is now saying that you can start calling her by her real first name, which is Emily. Okay, Emma. We'll start calling you Emily. Let's go ahead and do this. Today's impossible. It's impossible. It's not impossible. This question's actually easy today. Question. All right, this is not impossible at all. It's very possible. Survey asked, what's the hardest driving maneuver? So, I think the number one is pretty obvious. It's the number two that might not be so obvious. Again, today's impossible question, a survey asked, what's the hardest driving maneuver? And I'll admit, unless it's a big open space, I'm not going to try it either. It is parallel parking. That is the number one hardest driving maneuver, according to this survey. Now, the number two after parallel parking is backing into a parking spot. It's not easy, but it's not the hardest thing in the world, especially with the cameras that show you where you're at on all the newer vehicles. So, I don't know. Like I said, it wasn't impossible today. Let's go to the weird.
That is weird.
In some weird today. Oh, my number one follower, Chad Heistoffer, is in the house. Good morning to you, Chad. Good morning to my Aunt Deb and Jackie and Eloise. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out this morning. Let's see here. Let's go to the weird. A portrait of a young woman by an artist named Gustav Klimt. Klimt. K-I-L-M-T. K-L-I-M-T. Klimt? That was anyway, this portrait that was long believed to be lost was sold at an auction in Vienna on Wednesday for $32 million. Wow. The Austrian modernist artist started work on the portrait in 1917, the year before he died, and it is one of his last works. So, again, it was thought to be long gone, but now it sells for $32 million. So let's go to Mount Fuji. A huge barrier to block views of Mount Fuji will be installed at the popular photo spot by Japanese authorities, exasperated by crowds of badly behaved foreign tourists. So they have had it with tourists acting like idiots trying to get pictures at Mount Fuji. So they're going to be putting up a mesh net. Other weird news, Subway. This isn't really so weird. It's just kind of food news. Subway, it's Subway. They're known for their sub sandwiches, and they continue to get away from sub sandwiches, it seems like, as they're going to have several new styles of flatbread sandwiches, including home-style chicken salad, honey mustard chicken, turkey bacon and avocado, and Cali Caprese. Look for some new flatbread-styled sandwiches at Subway. Also in the weird, you ever heard of something called a vampire facial? I hadn't either until recently. Trendy, unproven, what they call vampire facials performed at an unlicensed spa in New Mexico left at least 3 women with HIV infections. This marks the first time that cosmetic procedures have been associated with an HIV outbreak. So, yeah, avoid that procedure, whatever it may be. Let's go to Ghana. A Ghana man studying forestry in Alabama. Actually, no, let's stay here in the United States. Let's go to Alabama to see the guy from Ghana. A Ghana guy in Alabama set a world record for most trees hugged in an hour when he hugged 1,123 trees at a national forest. What a tree hugger. Who keeps track of this is of course a Guinness World Record for hugging trees. 1,123 trees hugged in an hour. That's weird. And finally, I think I got a picture for this next weird story. It's somewhere in here. I've got a bunch of pictures loaded up today. Maybe I don't have it loaded up for today. But anyway, let me see if I can find it quick. Give me just 1 second. It's this giant velociraptor. Okay, I'm going to get the picture for you. Here is the picture. Of course, Jurassic Park started the craze for dinosaurs off back in the 1990s. And Michael Crichton, kind of his imagination and from what they have found as far as bones and stuff, they assumed that velociraptors were around 6 feet tall. Now, the thing is, they have now found remains of a giant velociraptor that would stand about 16 feet high instead of just 6 feet high, almost 3 times as big as a usual velociraptor. So now they're thinking, velociraptors could have gotten up to about 16 feet tall. That would be terrifying. Let's go to the files of law and disorder. In some disorder, a rapper, from the south side of Iran, Now, I don't know if he is from the south side. He's not from any side now because he's dead. A rapper who supported protests in Iran after the death in custody of a young woman arrested for not wearing one of the headscarves has been sentenced to death. Reuters reports that the media department of Iran's judiciary has confirmed that the rapper received the sentence on charges including corruption on earth. What does that even mean? So don't go against the authorities in Iran or you will be sentenced to death. Let's do something that will make you possibly smile.
Something that makes you smile.
Something to make you smile, brought to us by Dr. Stacy Freeze at Lifetime Dental Solutions. As if you're searching for a dentist in Sigourney, give Stacy Freeze a call, 641-622-2669. They are accepting new patients. Dr. Stacy Freeze at Lifetime Dental Solutions. In some good news, 2 mountain lion cubs are lucky someone did one final check of a dam spillway. That's DAM, by the way. A dam spillway in Colorado before opening the water gates. If a staffer from the dam hadn't double-checked the reservoir in southwest Colorado, 2 mountain lions that were trapped inside would have likely drowned. The reservoir was about to be opened, which would have sent water rushing down the spillway where the animals were resting. Thankfully, the opening of the reservoir was halted. Wildlife officers jumped into action to save the day for these 2 scared wild cats. So again, a couple of mountain lion cubs saved from all of the water. Speaking of cats, I tell you what, we've got cats outside of our house. We had a bunch of cats recently, a bunch of kittens recently born at our house, and they've been pretty immobile the first couple of weeks, but over the weekend we got home from Okoboji yesterday, and all the kittens, which are 6 kittens, are now mobile, and they are going in and out of the little cat house that we have. So cats at the Shetler house, watch out. Let's go to the Let's go to Japan. A Japanese city announced that documents containing the names and other personal information of 121 households living in this district were lost. Now, no misuse of the information has been confirmed to date, but according to the Housing Division, an employee of the Housing Supply Corporation fell while carrying documents containing April's rent and the name of the contractor on a cart from the public corporation building to the office. Now, documents for 121 households were blown away by the wind. The department said, quote, "In the future, we would like to exchange documents electronically." So Japan, a guy fell with all these people's information, personal information, and it's blowing around in Japan now. They get the duh.
Duh.
Hey, it's a Monday. Let's look at some box office receipts from the theaters. Did you go to a movie over the weekend? Once again, not many people did. A movie called Challengers, which I have zero idea what that's about. Challengers is number one. It debuts at number one, $15 million. 2 is Unsung Hero, bringing in $7.7 million. The Godzilla Kong movie hangs at number 3 with $7.2 million. Civil War is at number 4 with $7 million. Abigail is 5 at $5.2 million. Everything else is under $4 million. Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, Kung Fu Panda, Ghostbusters, Dune, and Boy Kills World round out your top 10 money-making movies. Okay, that will do it for today. Let's take another look at our forecast before we get you out of here. Our weather brought to us by the Garden Gate in Sigourney. Mostly sunny today, 65. West winds gusting up to 25 miles per hour. And some more rain in the forecast coming up on Tuesday night into Wednesday. That's a look at our forecast brought to us by the Garden Gate. We do thank Stam Garden Center and Nursery for being our headline sponsor here on the Morning Wake Up. You can experience the color at Stam's just outside of Oskaloosa. They are open Monday through Saturday, 9 to 6, closed on Sundays. And, of course, we broadcast from the Oski Dental Studios, 641-673-4845. All right, it's a Monday. Coming up a little bit later on today, we'll get to our In Remembrance of video at 8 a.m. Also, later on today, we'll have an encouraging word from Kevin Hempel at 5. We'll get to Successful Farming at 5:30. What else have we got? Real Talk with Pastor Aaron Fleming and myself. And then we'll get Cards Subject to Change. We'll talk some pro wrestling later on this evening at 7. Lots to get to today here on Steve Shetler Media. Hey, you guys go out and have a great Monday. We'll see you back here tomorrow at 7 a.m.